Good afternoon and warmly welcome to PreKMW Material Week event. My name is Johannes Malkamäki. I am a Master of Biotechnology and your host for this week, and I'm very excited about what this week has in store for us. Today, we have an exciting lineup of specialists as we dive into learning about the industrial development of Central Ostrobothnia. Big potential lies in the region, but we must also be able to mitigate the challenges we might face with such development. Industries are evolving, requiring more skills to be developed today for the needs of tomorrow. And this is not only a challenge for Kokkola, but rather for the whole of Finland. Today, we'll delve into these themes and the crucial questions of how to source skilled workforce, attract new talent, and retain that talent within the region. We will get to hear from experts through talks and a panel discussion. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery. I would like to now introduce our first speaker, Mika Palosaari, who will be opening today's event. He is the Director General of the Centre of Economic Development, Transport and Environment in Ostrobothnia. Mika's extensive knowledge and experience will guide us through the complexities of economic development and the environmental considerations we must balance in this growth. This kind of knowledge and expertise is crucial in shaping a sustainable and prosperous future for the region. Mika Palosaari, the stage is yours.
The region is doing well. Kokkola is a growing city that attracts investments and companies. Jobs are created especially in the battery and chemical industry, technology and service sectors. Kokkola is known for its hard-working and skilled workforce, which means that employment is at a good level. The city has a strong tradition of industry and technology, as well as a great entrepreneurial spirit and a willingness to do things better. Kokkola utilizes new technologies, invests in education and research, and creates cooperation with other regions. In addition to cooperation, we need more experts who are ready to tackle challenges and build a future together. Cooperation, education, innovation and openness are the key words of this work. The population of Kokkola is aging too, and we need measures that attract skilled people to the region. Other cities and regions, as well as the whole world, compete for the same experts. Kokkola must be an attractive place to lead a life and work in. Labor is a driver of the economy. When all people with work ability are working, it increases productivity and economic growth. Product development, innovations and expertise create new jobs and companies. Diversity is an asset for work communities and helps us solve complex problems. Attracting skilled workforce also requires investments in education and competence development. Cooperation between educational institutions and companies is therefore very important. International employees play a key role in supporting growth. We must be open to different cultures and ready to offer a helping hand to newcomers. International experts can help companies expand to international markets. International employers bring with them different cultures, perspectives and competencies. They enrich the local work community and can introduce new ideas. Flexibility of work, remote work opportunities and reconciliation of working hours can also attract experts to the region. Kokkola must keep a finger on the pulse and be ready to adapt to the changing world of work. We need everyone to work. Are we prepared to exploit the potential of the available workforce? Are we prepared to meet the needs of employers? Are we ready for change? We will discuss this topic today. I'm Director General Mika Palosaari from the Ostrobothnia Centre for Economic Development, Transport and the Environment. Welcome to our live broadcast.
Thank you, Mika, for these opening remarks. Next, we have the honor of welcoming Elina Pylkkänen, the Undersecretary of State at the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Employment of Finland. Her topic is where to find workforce, statistical information on labor availability. And her topic is incredibly timely. Elina will share with us valuable knowledge about the labor markets, helping us understand where and how we can find the skilled workforce necessary for our growing industries. Elina Pylkkänen, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Well, I'm Undersecretary of State at the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Employment, and I'm going to tell you about the workforce, not only how to find a labor force, but also how the economy looks like at the moment. We have made now our foresights or prognosis for the future, and we end up stating that our economy is now in low turn, meaning that we have either zero increase or negative increase of the production this year, but luckily next year we will find new growth again. Well, the production is under its potential level now. The demand of labor, although, is quite high at the moment, so there is optimism in the economy. The increase in the labor age population is at its record at the moment, and the vacancies, job openings, it hits records as well. Last year, this time, there was almost 200,000 vacancies compared with today's 100,000. But still, it is at very high level historically. Historically, never been this way that even though we are in low term, I mean the business cycle is now turning down, and still we have quite high demand of labor. So the labor market needs skilled labor. High inflation and interest rates have deteriorated the purchasing power of households. Consumer price index is higher than the wage index, meaning that disposable income of households are decreasing. But luckily, it will turn. It will be reversed next year. Especially the housing construction is in crisis due to fall in the demand. World economy is revised downwards as well due to the same things, higher inflation and interest rates. So therefore our export is reduced too. Here you can see the GDP development, or the change in GDP, or actually our production. Meaning that there you can see we have had really high GDP growth in our past, but during the last 10 years there has not been that high increase in our production. I hope this will look better soon, and our production in economy will look better. Here you can see how the different economic forecasters see our future. For the next year and the year after that, we can see that the economy is growing. And of course, it's easy to grow if this year is negative. It's much easier to grow then. But in any case, I think that the key point here is that inflation will be decreased by next year, whereas the wage rates are increasing. So this will increase households' disposable income. What happens in the US and China? Well, the US economy has been surprisingly strong compared with EU and China. both due to the domestic consumption and investments. But, and also the labor market has been very flourishing, the labor force is increasing, and also the employment rate has increased tremendously. But there has been also inflation, but now it is suddenly or coming down since the price of energy is coming down. And but the investments are quite, investments are not raising that much since the interest rate is quite high at the moment. In China, the inflation rate is not the problem, since the inflation rate is 0.7, so it is better in that respect when it comes to investments. But on the other hand, China is suffering from low world market economy. Well, Finnish labor market is doing quite fine. And there is this historic peculiarity which I was telling you about. Even though we have a downturn, we still have a labor demand which is quite high, historically quite high. And firms are willing to keep their people since they see already the economic term to the economic upturn now coming around the corner. And of course, it is much harder to hire people again or recruit people, and it is easier to keep people while the production is either decreasing or staying stable. Well, and also this weaker view in the economy is seen in the private recruitment services, since they have increased their turnover quite a long time now, and the volumes are almost doubled during the last 5 years, and now it seems that they actually face this downturn now quicker than the other parts of economy or other firms. So now it is extremely important to re-educate people, especially those who are suffering from structural unemployment. There are at least 150,000 of those among our unemployed people. As you can see, immigration is increasing in the biggest cities at least, and I think in every region, this immigration is increasing. And that is one answer, one important answer to that question that I asked first, where to find the labor force. And the second answer was of course, here you can see the answers, and here you can see the trends in the immigration. And here you can see the 6 biggest cities, and you can see the population is increasing, especially, the population is increasing due to immigration, mostly. So if we talk about labor market forecasts, supply of labor is increasing, and it is mostly due to the immigration. But also part-time work is increasing, and self-employment is increasing too. And there are less of firms who employ. And that is one problem, of course. We wanted to have those big companies that are recruiting or employing people more and more. The total increase is due to immigration, as I told you. Net migration is increasing, but outflow is increasing too. So we have to keep those people in Finland. Most of the immigrant ends up to the labor market, which is a very good thing. So it is beneficial to our age structure. When the labor force increases, and this is a mystery, but the employment rate decreases while the unemployment rate increases too. So Therefore, I'm talking about absolute numbers, not shares here. The most important for the Finnish economy is to train and educate more people to the labor market and increase the participation rate. It is something that we can do at the state level or in the legislation to try to encourage people to supply their labor in the labor market. Dependency rate is still too high. You know that all the wage earners are paying or are the net payers for the system, and these people, for example, retired and children, they are those people who are net receivers. So we have to really, therefore, we have to increase our labor market or labor supply. And here I will show you some economic forecast figures. These are from the Ministry of Finance figures that they were presenting 1 month ago, and they see the economy so that there is no increase or decrease in production this year, and we can see that almost everything is decreasing. Exports are decreasing. Consumption, household consumption is decreasing this year, and also investments. And that's a pity because investments is the most decisive thing when we think about our future economic growth. And here you can see the other key forecast figures. And here you can see the GDP in numbers or in euros. And here is also the prediction of employment rate and unemployment rate, but it seems that there is no the number for the participation. But in any case, we hope that it will come up as well. Current account, this tells you about what is the relation between imports and exports, and it seems that the value of imports is higher than the value of exports, and that's a problem in the Finnish economy too. We need to reverse that, hopefully. And here you can see the consumer confidence. The confidence came down during of course, during the pandemic, and again when the energy prices were raising, and also the interest rates were raising, and of course the war and everything. So, but there is some recovery that we can see. So we are optimistic there that next year there will be economic upturn again. And here you can see the household savings and debt level of the households. And the debt level has not increased during the last few years. And this is, of course, quite nice thing. But on the other hand, we see here the housing market, the problems in the housing market, so that the households are not spending on the durable goods anymore. They are waiting for better times in the economy. And here you can see the household consumption, the contributions of different, durable goods, non-durable, and services, and in total. So household consumption is very important. It contributes to the GDP at least about almost half of it comes from household consumption. And here you can see the investments, which is the most decisive factor in our future economy, our economic development. And what is worrisome is that research and development still stays the same. And the share of the GDP stays the same, even though we have a political decision here that we need to increase that. But it doesn't seem to, it hasn't not started yet, the either the subsidies in the economy or the higher investments in research and development. And here you can see the same, the contributions separately. And here you can see the output from different sectors. And here is the thing that what we are to expect in the labor market. You can see that services are increasing all the time, while the manufacturing is quite stable. This means that services, they are very labor intensive, so the labor demand will increase in the future as well. So make sure that there will be more labor force in the Finnish labor market. Contribution to the GDP growth in Finland, as I told you, the investments are in low position now, and also private consumption, but they will recover. Luckily, they will recover next year and the 25. So we will have it better when we wait another year. And then volume index for industrial production. Here you can see different branches and sectors in the industry, and you can see where there is increase. Forestry is unfortunately decreasing, but the other ones are almost increasing or in stable level. And gross domestic product, you can compare here the China, Euro area and the US. And as you can see, they go almost hand in hand, except that China has experienced a huge growth in their economy. And here you can see turnover trends. This also tells you the very optimistic future, since the turnover in every sector is increasing, even though now at the moment it is decreasing a bit. But this looks nice when we see the history and the trends in for the future. And unemployment and employment rate, you can see that the unemployment rate is decreasing and employment rate is projected to be, increased. And the unit labor cost, why this is so important to compare with other countries. These are our competitors. Therefore, we need to be concerned about this figure as well. So it seems that the unit labor cost in Finland is growing less faster than in our neighboring countries. And you can see here vacancies and the historic levels that I was talking about. So there are job openings, and still there are a lot of open vacancies, even though we experience downturn in the economy. And the world trade, as you can see, the Finnish economy is fluctuating at the same time when the world trade is fluctuating. So it is good that the world economy goes well as well, since we are so independent as a small open economy. So therefore we need that export to contribute our GDP. And consumer price index, as you know, the inflation has been very high. Last year we experienced really high figures, but now we come down, and thanks to the energy prices, that they are actually contributing negatively to the consumer prices now. And here you can see the index of wages. Whenever the wage index is higher than the consumer price index, then it means that households' disposable income is increasing, and it gives purchasing power to the households. And if we see raw material prices, you can see also that this means good things for the world economy, and of course to our economy as well, since we are exporting the industrial goods. Still, the biggest article in our export commodities is industry or produced in our industrial sector. And the general government debt, as you all know, the debt has been increasing since many years. and now after the pandemic, it has been growing even faster. And that is one thing that the government tries to fight against, and hopefully it will soon be better. And this is the financial balance. Here you can see the municipal government and also the well-being services in the counties and central government debt. So there is no surprises. And here you can compare the revenues with the expenditure and tax revenues as well. And here is the dependency ratio, which I already mentioned, that it is important to increase our labor supply in order to also help this dependency ratio to come a bit down. Here you can see the costs or expenditure, what is linked to the different people, meaning according to age, and the higher the age of the population, the more we have expenditures, and therefore we need to really try to increase our labor force. Thank you so much. It was a really rapid slideshow, but I hope you got something.
All right, thank you, Elina Pylkkänen, for this thorough outlook of the labor market. Elina, I have a few questions for you to kind of sum this all up. What kind of problems do we have in the Finnish labor market?
Well, I think one of the most serious problems in our labor market is that we have still almost 400,000 unemployed people who are in work age. So that is one problem. There is structural unemployment. They need to be educated or trained to a certain, to get skills that are now demanded in the labor market.
Yes, I'm pretty sure we can all agree that that is quite crucial. Yes. So how about this? How will employment develop here in Finland? What's your kind of outlook on that?
Yes. Amount of employed people will increase all the time due to immigration. Yes. But at the same time, when we have more people, then the employment rate will be decreasing. And now unemployment rate is also increasing.
So we are increasing on the employment and increasing on the unemployment.
Yeah, we are talking about amount of people that are employed. So that amount is increasing, although the share of employed people is shrinking.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Kind of counterintuitive as well.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
One thing I was following your presentation from the sidelines there, and I noticed this unit labor cost factor thing you have there. I'm just curious to understand it better myself. Was it so that we are not as expensive as some of the main competitors of ours here in the Nordics and Central Europe?
Yes, that's right. We are now better off in that respect compared with our neighbors, for example, Sweden, who is exporting almost the same kinds of things that we are. But on the other hand, they have krona, meaning that it has depreciated so much that they have advantage in that there, even though their labor costs is growing rapidly.
What about Germany? Then they're also in the euro, so are we better able to compete against Germany?
Yes, I think so. Okay. And the country that we export most is now the US, not Germany or Sweden anymore.
Okay.
Yes.
That is quite
That's good news.
All right.
It is perhaps the NATO membership that made this possible.
So it's affecting Finland in other ways besides safety as well.
That's right, actually. We have to take the advantage of that.
Yes, I think so. All right, thank you, Elina, very much for this quick slideshow. That was nonetheless very informative.
Yeah.
It was very, very informative.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully you could follow it.
I could.
Yeah, I could.
Okay, and now I'm pleased to introduce our next speakers to the stage. First up is Lea Pellinen, the HR manager of Umicore Finland Oy. Lea will bring her valuable perspective on Kokkola Industrial Park, a hub of growth and development that is in demand of a multitude of diverse skills. Her experiences in the human resources are crucial for understanding the workforce needs of such a dynamic industrial area. After Lea, we'll turn our attention to the crucial role of education in preparing for change, as we hear from Jyrki Rajala, the Talent Boost Coordinator at Centria University of Applied Sciences. Jyrki's expertise is crucial as we explore the perspective of higher education in equipping our workforce with the necessary skills for rapidly evolving industrial landscape. That is a mouthful. Okay, but before that, Lea Pellinen, over to you.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. I will present Kokkola Industrial Park, the growing and developing industrial area needs. Firstly, about Kokkola Industrial Park. It is Northern Europe's largest ecosystem of inorganic chemical industry. In the industrial park, there are 16 industrial companies and over 60 service companies which support the core functions of industrial companies. This area and these companies employ 2,400 people directly. Kokkola has grown into a strong chemical ecosystem and an accumulation of global businesses. Competence is reflective both in the process know-how of the industrial park and in the focus on training and high-level research. In the future, the industrial park will hire 1,600 employees by 2027. Then one example of huge growth, Umicore Finland. It operates a highly automated hydrometallurgical processing facility at Kokkola's industrial park. It is the largest cobalt refining plant outside China and a big European precursor plant. Umicore's ambition is to contribute to the accelerating transition to cleaner mobility in Europe and the rest of the world. Umicore Finland has hired 200 new employees in 2 years. The headcount of the company is now 430. In the coming years, Umicore's growth will continue and it will need even more new people. People and their talent are greatest asset for long-term success. What are the most important factors for getting this workforce to Kokkola? First of all, cooperation with schools. Together we create talents and prepare them for work life. For example, we offer job training for students. We offer summer job. We do apprenticeship contracts. We offer thesis topics. We have mentor programs with universities. And we allow visitors to come see what we do. And one excellent example of this cooperation with schools is the newest one. The Federation of Education in Central Ostrobothnia, KP-EDU, has received the decision to start a basic degree in process industry also in English. This is a significant step and a good news. Of course, attention requires a lot of visibility. so we need to do a lot of marketing and branding. Investments and positive news in the area attract people. Needs create opportunities also for career changers and for unemployed people. They can train for a new career for themselves. Excellent career development opportunities inside companies and continuous skills development. People's well-being, compensation and benefits, and comfortability are important keepers. Beautiful Kokkola, where all services are very close and excellent job opportunities. Here is something for everybody. One example to attract people to Kokkola is Kokkola Works campaign. The ambition of companies to develop, produce, and recycle materials in a way that fulfills the mission, materials for a better life. The power of cooperation then. KIP area, Kokkola City, Ostrobotnio Chamber of Commerce, Chemical Industry Federation, local schools, universities. Together we build an inclusive, equal, collaborative, supportive and respectful environment. An inclusive and diverse workplace ensures our employees' well-being. Together we are creating a more sustainable world for future generations. This is challenging and important work, and it is something we are achieving together. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Lea. It is my absolute pleasure to be here and give you the perspective of higher education when it comes to finding skilled workforce in the area. Firstly, let me introduce you to Centria. Who are we and what we do? What kind of education can we offer locally and globally? So Centria is located in 3 different campuses in Kokkola, in Ylivieska and in Pietarsaari, and we are very easy to reach by train or by flights. Each of the campuses are specialized in their own way. Like in Ylivieska, they're specialized in small entrepreneurship, in Pietarsaari in international business, and in Kokkola more in the engineering fields. So how does Centria look in 2023? Well, we have over 4,000 students and over 11,000 applicants, and those numbers are growing year by year. They're getting higher. We have 21% of the whole student base are international students. So that is the biggest number that the higher education institutes have in Finland. So we have almost 900 degree-seeking students inside Centria who we need to retain and hopefully we're able to keep here in Finland. That's the main goal. Over 65% of our students now study at Kokkola, 24% of the students study in Ylivieska, and the rest, 10%, in Pietarsaari. 55% of the student base is blended learning students, and 45% are daytime students. And we are very proud that we have the most satisfied students in Finland in the engineering fields. But also what is missing is that we have the most satisfied student in the master's field as well, according to the inquiries. What type of education do we offer? Well, it's we have a big variety of educations where the students can pick from. We have our bachelor degree programs, our master degree programs, from which you can find more information online from our web pages. And then we also have our Open University of Applied Sciences studies, specialist training, conversion training, continuing training, and on-demand training. So quite a vast kind of like a pool where everybody can pick from their what type of education do they need. Then how do we cooperate with the local companies? One is Centria's RDI division. RDI stands for Research, Develop and Innovation. We have 4 different teams currently: digitalization, chemistry and bioeconomy, production technology, entrepreneurship and well-being. And close in the future, we will have 5 different RDI teams when the entrepreneurship and well-being will be separated into 2 different teams. We have over 100 RDI projects over the year. And then we also offer development services and training services under Centria's RDI divisions. If you need any more information about what we do in the research division, please find the information from our website, or you can contact our director of RDI, Marko Forssell, as well. Then, work life and career services were established 1.5 years ago to make sure that the students that we attract we're able to also keep and to guide them towards the working life here in Kokkola and in Centria's region where we operate. Currently, there are 2 employees in the work life and career services, me and my colleague Anni-Maija, and hopefully we're able to build from that towards the future. What kind of services do we offer for the companies, or what the companies can also offer for us? You can trust on us so that we can help you to recruit an employee or an intern for your needs. All you need to do is to contact us, and we can schedule a meeting, and then we can help you to form a post where we can then find you the suitable intern for the company's needs. Also, where is a huge demand for our students currently is the thesis topics. We need more thesis topics for our students so that they're able to graduate, and hopefully the companies will also benefit from it. Also, different sorts of project works are necessary for the students to build up their portfolio for their futures. You're also welcome to visit our campus. We can organize a date for you, and then we can schedule the date so that we can invite the students to come and meet the companies, so your company will be more known among our students. We also organize different kinds of events. Next one will be actually next week, IT recruitment event, where we will have 16 different companies participating, so it will be quite a big event. On the 29th of November at Centria's Kokkola's campus. Everybody's welcome to visit us. Then if you're a graduate from Centria, please also register for our alumni activities so that you will hear what we can offer for you, and then hopefully we'll be able to contact you as well to kind of like invite you to Centria, and then hopefully you can also benefit us. So contact us, invite us for a visit, and let us help your company. Then in Centria Jobi, it's one channel. You can reach all of the students in our area, and it's free to use. This is for the companies where you can post your jobs, internship, thesis topics, project works, events, all sorts of things. The registration takes about 30 seconds to 1 minute, so it's very easy. Then you can find all the students in the area and develop your higher education cooperation even further. And if we speak nationwide and locally, Vaasa, Kajaani and Oulu University of Applied Sciences also use Tiitus, so you will actually reach a large number of students by registering here and posting your jobs. And again, you can contact us for more information. Then one important topic that I wanted to discuss is our international students. Like I mentioned, we have almost 900 international students who want to stay here in Finland and are here to complete their degrees. But they need work, they need internship opportunities, they need project work. So one thing that we have done, or one project that we had great results from, was Export Expert. Over 16 to be exact, tandem bears found an employment through this project. The goal of the project was to get the international student to stay and find employment in the region in order to guarantee the availability of the labor market in the future. And this is a great way and gives the companies a low threshold opportunity to practice their international recruitment and prepare for the future. To summarize everything in brief, how can we help the companies? Contact us in the Work, Life and Career Services, or if you want to do collaboration with the Centria RDI department, they are more than happy to help you as well. And through us, we can also guide you to the right people. Also, we have our development services and our labor market training. But that's it from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jyrki, and also thank you to Lea. Before you, Jyrki, a quick question for you. In your opinion, what is the role of regional higher education institutions in attracting and retaining workforce here?
I think we do a lot of good work of attracting students. We have over 21% of our student base who are international students who come here for the degree. But how we can keep them here is where we need everybody's help. We need the whole community behind it. We need work for them. We need internship opportunities. We need project work. We need thesis topics, like I mentioned before. Yeah. So we need the whole community behind it.
The educational institution can't really stay along for the ride.
We can do a lot, but we can't do everything, unfortunately. Yes.
Exactly. All right. Thank you, Jyrki, very much for this quite enlightening talk of yours.
My pleasure.
Now we're moving on to a very exciting part of our program this afternoon, a panel discussion that brings in experts in the fields of growth, development, HR, and education. The topic for today's panel discussion is Central Ostrobothnia is growing and developing. Are we ready for the change? And we have a distinguished panel that brings in together diverse perspectives from different sectors in the field. We have Lea Pellinen from Umicore Finland Oy. We have Francesca Cucinotta of Centria University of Applied Sciences. We have Matthew Guinard with Key IP Services Limited. And we have Elina Pylkkänen from the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Employment of Finland. We heard from Lea Pellinen and Elina Pylkkänen previously, so I'll introduce the two other panelists here quickly. Francesca Cucinotta is the Director of International Affairs at Centria University of Applied Sciences. Her responsibilities include internationalization and international mobility, transnational education, and matters related to education-based immigration. She has worked in international relations, recruitment, and employment issues for more than 25 years in different sectors. Matthew Guinard has been living in Finland for 14 years. He works at Key IP Service on human resources development, communication, among other things. He's very much involved in the question of acquiring and keeping talent in the area. Today's discussion will be moderated by our TE producer and host, Jasmin Granholm. Before the panel discussion, we will get to know what kind of effect orientation has on the employee's well-being and retention.
Työntekijöiden odotukset työelämästä ovat murroksessa. Kun yritykset taistelevat osaavasta työvoimasta, veto- ja pitovoimatekijät nousevat keskiöön. Heidi Saarinen on työskennellyt Danfossilla henkilöstöhallinnossa jo useita vuosia, ja varsinkin perehdyttämisprosessit ovat olleet hänen keskiössään. Käydään juttelemassa Heidin kanssa asiasta vähän tarkemmin. Heidi, sä oot työskennellyt henkilöstöhallinnossa Danfossissa ja perehdyttämisen parissa jo vuosia, niin miten tärkeää perehdyttäminen on työntekijän motivaation näkökulmasta?
No kyllä mä sanoisin, että motivaation näkökulmasta perehdyttäminen on äärimmäisen tärkeää. Mä sanoisin kyllä sen, että uskon vahvasti siihen, että perehdyttäminen on tärkein koulutus, mitä työnantaja tarjoaa työntekijöilleen työsuhteen aikana. Mä lähtisin hakemaan sitä vertauskuvaa talon rakentamisesta. Siinä vaiheessa, kun taloa rakennetaan, ja jos ei kiinnitetä huomiota siihen kivijalan vahvuuteen ja sen toimivuuteen, niin on suotta lähteä rakentamaan niitä kerroksia siihen päälle. Ensimmäinen tuuli tulee tai myrsky tulee, niin se kaataa samalla sen talon. Ja mä näen, että oikeastaan ihan sama asia tapahtuu työsuhteessa. Jos et sä kiinnitä huomiota siihen, että pystytään siinä työsuhteen alussa kertomaan tarkasti, että mitkä ne yrityksen arvot on, mitkä on ne tavat toimia, mitkä on ne tärkeimmät työtehtävät ja vastuualueet, niin mikäli ne jää epäselväksi, niin mä sanoisin, että on aika vaikea motivoitua uudesta työtehtävästä.
No perehdyttäminen on muuttunut vuosien aikana aika paljon, niin millaisia odotuksia työntekijöillä on perehdyttämiseen tänä päivänä?
Joo, täytyy sanoa, että onneksi perehdyttäminen on muuttunut viime vuosien aikana ja erityisesti tuotannon puolella täytyy sanoa, että silloin aikaisemmin kiinnitettiin huomiota lähinnä siihen, että työopastetaan, työtä tehdään oikeaoppisesti. Mutta nyt on ymmärretty se, että myös tuotannon työssä, ihan riippumatta missä työtehtävässä uusi henkilö on, niin on tärkeää ymmärtää kokonaisuus, missä osana työntekijä on. Ja sitä kautta niin kuin perehdyttäminen on muuttunut semmoiseksi kokonaisvaltaisemmaksi. Otetaan huomioon myös kollegat, jotka siinä ympärillä on se työyhteisö, mihin tullaan. On tosi tärkeää, että työntekijät pääsevät heti osaksi työyhteisöä.
Millainen rooli työntekijällä itsellä on perehdyttämisessä?
Työntekijän rooli oman itsensä perehdyttämisprosessissa on äärimmäisen tärkeä. Mä näen, että se on oppimisprosessi. Ja oppimisessa on tärkeää, että työntekijä ottaa aktiivisen roolin. Silloin hän ottaa semmoisen aktiivisen toimijuuden, hän kysyy kysymyksiä, haluaa tarkennusta asioihin, uskaltaa kokeilla. Ja siellä monesti on se minäpystyvyys, että mitkä on ne aikaisemmat kokemukset henkilöllä, että onko ollut vastaavassa tilanteessa onnistumisia, tai onko mahdollisesti joku epäonnistuminen, joka nousee sieltä, mitä ehkä uuskaan organisaatiossa ei osaa varautua, että sieltä taustalta voi löytyä sellainen aikaisempi epäonnistunut kokemus. Niin siitä näkökulmasta on tosi tärkeää, että semmoinen luottamussuhde, turvallinen tila luodaan sille uudelle perehdyttämiselle. Ja erityisen tärkeää on perehdyttäjän roolissa tukea sitä minäpystyvyyden kehittymistä. Ja se tarkoittaa sitä, että annetaan palautetta, annetaan sekä sitä positiivista, erityisesti työsuhteen alussa sitä positiivista palautetta, mutta myös niitä kehittämiseen liittyviä palautteita. Sitä kautta pystytään rakentamaan sitä luottamusta uuden työntekijän ja organisaation välille. Ja näen, että mikäli me ei saada työntekijää aktivoitua siihen oman kehittymisen toimijuuteen, niin silloin voidaan todeta, että perehdyttäminen saa aika heikot lähtöasetelmat.
No miten eri taustat voivat vaikuttaa perehdyttämiseen, jos puhutaan esimerkiksi, että työntekijällä on eri kieli tai hän tulee eri kulttuurista?
Joo, toki taustat vaikuttaa siihen ja ollaankin huomattu, että mikäli henkilö tulee sellaisesta kulttuurista, missä ehkä niin kuin mietitään, että auktoriteettia ei uskalleta kyseenalaistaa ja täytyy sanoa, että juuri perehdyttämisessä tärkeintä on se, että uskaltaa kysyä. Silloin pystytään saamaan sitä tietoa niistä asioista, missä selkeästi on vielä sitä tietovajetta. Ja täytyy sanoa, että kielellisesti niin Suomessa on erityisen hyvä kielitaso. Ja meilläkin Danfossilla täytyy sanoa, että tuotannon puolella ollaan nyt käynnistetty vuosi sitten perehdytykset englannin kielellä. Ja täytyy sanoa, että onnistuttu ollaan, että nuorilla erityisesti on hyvä kielitaito ja työntekijät on halukkaita keskustelemaan myös muulla kuin äidinkielellään.
No miten ikä voi vaikuttaa perehdyttämiseen, jos puhutaan, että on nuorempi suoraan koulun penkiltä tuleva tai sitten vanhempi, jolla on jo pidempi kokemus?
No joo, ikä tuo sekä niin sanotusti positiivisia puolia, mutta siinä on oma kääntöpuolensakin siitä näkökulmasta, että jos henkilö tulee suoraan koulun penkiltä, niin hän on monesti halukas oppimaan ja hän aika nopeasti ehkä omaksuukin ne toimintatavat, mitä yrityksessä ja organisaatiossa vallitsee. Mutta sitten taas jos miettii, että henkilöllä on vaikka 10-20 vuoden kokemus, ehkä samaltakin toimialalta, eri toimialalta, niin hänellä on jo tietyt toimintamallit. Ja se semmoinen poisoppiminen saattaa aiheuttaa haastetta, että henkilö ei ehkä olekaan niin valmis omaksumaan helposti niitä uuden organisaation toimintamalleja. Mutta aina voidaan oppia.
Kyllä. Miten niin sanottu epäonnistunut perehdyttäminen voi ilmentyä yrityksessä?
No joo, täytyy sanoa, että yhteenkin isoon tutkimukseen viitaten, niin sen tutkimuksen perusteella vain 12% vastanneista oli kokenut, että perehdyttäminen oli onnistunut heidän osaltaan onnistuneesti. Se tarkoittaa kääntöpuolelta sitä, että 88% vastaajista oli sitä mieltä, että perehdyttäminen oli epäonnistunut. Usein siellä niin syynä taustalta löytyy se, että työtehtäviä ei ole määritelty selkeästi, ei ole selkeitä tavoitteita, ehkä vastuualueet on jäänyt määrittelemättä ja se semmoinen arvostuksen ja kunnioituksen puuttuminen. Ja erityisen huolestuttavaa on se, että niiden palautteiden perusteella niin myös esihenkilöt eivät ole tukeneet uuden työntekijän perehdyttämistä työsuhteen alussa. Ja tosiaan pahimmillaan se johtaa siihen, että työntekijä joko siihen, että hän ei pääse kiinni siitä työtehtävästä, saa onnistunutta alkua, tai hän päättää lähteä organisaatiosta.
No voiko perehdyttämistä tapahtua myös työajan ulkopuolella?
No joo, kyllä sitä pystyy tapahtumaan erityisesti työajan ulkopuolella, että se ei pelkästään rajoitu siihen, että kun oven sulkee, niin tieto siirtyisi ja perehdyttäminen loppuisi siihen, mutta että on erilaisia harrastekerhoja, mihin työntekijät osallistuu, tapaavat vapaa-ajalla, vaihtavat kuulumisia. Perehdyttäminen voi olla myös sitä, että henkilö tutustuu aihepiiriin kirjallisuutta lukien tai artikkeleita lukien ja sitä kautta, että on hyvin moninaista. Ja mun mielestä että se on tosi hienoa, että yritykset on herännyt siihen, että järjestetään erilaisia tapahtumia. Ne voi olla jotain hyvinvointikerhoja, erilaisia joukkueita ja niihin kun osallistuu, tutustuu ihmisiin, löytää semmoisia yhteisiä puheenaiheita ja aika usein sitten kun työkavereiden kanssa vapaa-aikaa viettää, niin tulee keskusteltua asioista, mitkä liittyy työhön ja sitä kautta perehdyttämistä tapahtuu. Mm-hmm.
Millaisia vinkkejä sulla on yrityksille perehdyttämisen tueksi? Onko sulla jotain semmoista vinkkilistaa, näillä onnistut?
No en tiedä, onko kaiken kattavaa vinkkilistaa, mutta täytyy sanoa, että kyllä se lähtee sieltä, että miten yrityksessä ja organisaatiossa arvostetaan sitä perehdyttämistä. Onko siihen käytettävissä riittävästi resursseja, aikaa, onko henkilöitä niin kuin mahdollista, kuinka moni työntekijä sitoutetaan osaksi sitä perehdyttämistä, kuinka selkeästi määritellään vastuut perehdyttämisen osalta, kuinka saadaan uusi työntekijä mukaan oman itsensä kehittymiseen, ja sitä kautta, että miten hänet saadaan mukaan siihen työyhteisöön. Mun mielestä on tosi tärkeää, että me otetaan huomioon, että jokainen on yksilö. On tärkeää, että me luodaan niitä onnistumisen mahdollisuuksia jokaiselle. Ja jos me siinä työsuhteen alussa heti kaadetaan niin kuin kaikki vastuut, kaikki työtehtävät laajasti, niin saattaa tulla semmoinen alussa ähky. Mutta jos me palotellaan vähän niitä asioita, me luodaan mahdollisuuksia oppia ja toisaalta onnistua.
Haluatko hyvän työn vai hyvän elämän? Kokkolassa saat molemmat, sillä Kokkolan seutu on vahvassa kasvussa. Vihreää siirtymää edistäviin yrityksiin syntyy lähivuosina tuhansia uusia työpaikkoja. Ja hyvän elämän edellytyksiä luovalla julkisella sektorilla ja sote-alalla on myös jatkuvasti työtä tarjolla. Tutustu alueen työnantajiin ja ota uusi askel urallasi. kokkolaworks.fi.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We're here to explore a crucial question that holds the key to the future of Central Ostrobothnia. Are we ready for the change? Our panelists today bring diverse perspectives from the fields of industry, education, business, and government. Before we dive into the details of recruitment, attraction, and retention, let's start with the simple yet profound question that encapsulates the essence of today's discussion. I'm going to pose this question to each of my esteemed panelists, and I invite them to respond with a simple yes or no. Audience members, as you listen to their responses, consider what readiness for change means to you in the context of Central Ostrobothnia's growth and development. Now, without further ado, let's begin by asking each panelist, are we ready for the change? Elina?
Yes, of course.
Lea?
Yes.
Francesca?
Of course we are.
Matthew?
I'd say no.
Thank you. Thank you, because I was scared that you are all going to say yes. So, if no, And you said no, Matthew. Could you please elaborate on why you believe Central Ostrobothnia is not ready for the change? Are there specific challenges or areas of concern that you would like to highlight?
Well, yes. Actually, if I would answer yes, everything should be ready. For no, just one thing, and it's no, so that's why I say no. I think in the industry and KIP, for example, we are mostly ready for that. And education side, I think also. My concern is what's the rest. I mean, it's the culture, the transport, for example, the housing. I think on that aspect, the area is not really ready. For example, I'm not sure we are making full use of our strength. We are a countryside region and city, and are we using all of that possibilities? Are we building on that? I'm not certain, because, for example, the transport could be a good question. Is there any plans for that? There could be some commuter trains in the whole region to connect the different cities and places, and a transport system in Kokkola, for example. If you are in Kokkola in the train station, you can't get to KIP by any other ways than foot. So that's some of the reason why I say no.
Infrastructure is a key element when we think about investments. Elina, quick moment to you, and then Francesca.
Yeah, I think I answered to that question that we are ready. We are not doing enough, but we are ready. And if there is any country or nation doing more than we do, so give me the name, please.
Thank you. Francesca.
Yes, I have to support Matthew for the housing part, which seems to be an obstacle all the time in education as well. So in that sense, even though we have many things ready, this is something that really needs more support and more initiative.
And then we have to look at the local politicians and what kind of what they are doing in order to better the housing and infrastructure in this area. Well, almost everyone said that they believe that Central Ostrobothnia is ready for change. To build on this positive note, could each panelist share a specific strength or advantage that they believe contributes to this region's readiness? Francesca, I'm going to start with you.
Success story that benefits this transition. Well, Jyrki here was already talking about our Talent Boost program, the National Talent Boost program, and of course the educational institutions are very strong actors in that, along with other actors from Kristiinankaupunki to Kokkola, the whole two regions. So we have very good examples there from transforming the company's readiness to actually hire international talent. So I'm here to represent that part of that. So we do have an expert. We have an excellent example of that, for example. So that scenery has been changing quite rapidly now, fortunately.
That's good to hear. And we're going to go back to expert a bit later in this panel. Lea, what do you think? What is a specific strength or advantage that you believe contributes to, for example, Kokkola's readiness?
I would say everything is not ready yet, like Matthew said, but I would highlight this cooperation with schools. And I have to say that I have seen that we have already hired 200 more people to our company, and most of these are coming from this area. Mm-hmm. And so this cooperation is the key, I would say, in everything and this. So this is
That's true, yes. And education is the key, and we're going to talk about education a bit more.
Yes.
Elina, from your perspective, how do you see Central Ostrobothnia?
Well, I see that here you know each other, so this is a small region, and so you know everybody in person, and it helps really to increase the flexibility of things and to make things easier, much easier and faster.
That's a great answer. And the overall sentiment was very positive, and we have now seen or heard potential challenges or areas of improvement like housing and infrastructure here. So are there any other areas of improvement that you see in terms of sustaining and maximizing the readiness for change in the region? Matthew, let's start with you.
Well, yes, as I said, building on our strengths. So, for example, developing our educational system, I mean, not vocational school, but before. I mean, we have space and we can offer a small structure that people actually want. And I think, for example, in that direction, we should stress on that. Smaller schools with better understanding of the pupil and that kind of things. I think we have the strength to do it, so we should do it. That's one example.
It all comes down to money then, yes. Francesca?
Definitely, as was said here, the infrastructure in a way, of course, exists. The industrial symbiosis, which KIP represents, is there. We have the education, but then when you have people coming over to Finland and also moving from other parts in Finland, it's the life they build in that city which they have to have in order to stay there. So to have friends, to have places to go to in the weekends, in the evening. So the basic life is something maybe that we take it as granted, but for those newcomers it is not.
And then, of course, when we think about us Finns, who are very not so social, maybe, well, not counting me or you, Francesca, but we have to improve as well. So we are welcoming to the newcomers. It's not easy to invite someone to come over for a cup of coffee when you already know the friends in your,
Definitely.
Yes. Well, Lea, what about you? What areas of improvement can you see in sustaining and maximizing the readiness?
I would say this big language question. So Kokkola is getting more and more international all the time. So now we are discussing internally in companies about this language. So in the future, maybe we are in a situation where we hire people not speaking Finnish. So this is, and these questions inside the company are related to, for example, safety issues and these. So this is a big question, this language.
I'm going to continue with this language question because you've already started the discussion within Umicore. Do you see the problem is mainly because middle managers cannot speak English, or they think, as we Finns, we are quite, we put our own language skills down. So is the problem there, or where is the problem that we cannot change the language of the company to English?
It's more about the safety, and so people need to understand if something happens, and nowadays people speak a lot of English, but for example, all our instructions and these kind of things are in Finnish. So we need to change those first,
yes,
so that they understand what they read. So it's a lot of internal work inside the company. Yes. So we need do a lot of work, internal work in a company, so it's more safety.
Yes,
things.
Elina.
Yeah, not only, the language is the problem. The problem is also how to attract people from Helsinki area, for example. There are 100,000 unemployed people. How to attract them here? So if you can give an answer to that question, I will listen to you.
Francesca has an answer.
I have an answer. According to the statistics, it's almost impossible, actually, to get people to move from other parts of Finland. Finns are very they stay where they probably land when they study.
It's easier in that respect.
You'd think.
Language.
Yeah.
The language and the weather and everything.
Yeah, you know what's ahead.
But yeah, you see as an area of improvement how local regions can attract those people from...
since there is a huge mismatch.
Yes.
So So therefore, I would like to encourage you to attract them first.
Well, we just saw the Kokkola Works video, and I lived personally in Kokkola 12 years ago, and Kokkola has sent me a letter asking if I would like to move back. So they are at least trying, you know.
Good.
Yes. So
10 points.
And actually, well, you've moved here. I work here. I live in a different region, actually. So we are examples of this.
We have moved here.
Okay, you know how to attract them.
Yes.
Well, it's about the network, the social connection, the cultural possibilities, what you can't get easily, for example, in Helsinki. The job we have, so that's the main thing. But what we have here, as I said, is space, nature, that kind of things.
Costs of living.
Of course,
Yes.
of course. But if we develop the culture, for example, and the sports, we will have some good argument to bring people. I don't think at the moment we develop that enough. So
That's right, yeah.
that's a very interesting point, culture and sports, and how these soft values are also a way to attract people. Well, that's great. We're going to move on to attraction side of this, because we are already in this discussion. As we explore ways to attract talent and foster growth, each panelist will provide insights from their unique vantage point. Matthew, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to go to the last point. You bring a unique perspective to this panel as both as an HRD specialist in Kokkola Industrial Park and as an international talent, our token international talent, I might say, who has chosen to stay in Finland. Can you share your personal experience with us as an international professional in Central Ostrobothnia? What factors attracted you to the region?
Well, I was thinking in terms of attraction, why we came. It's because the family of my wife lives in the region, so that's the main thing. But I think
natural forces.
Yes, but attraction is one thing, but you have to stay. And what made us stay, of course, is the social connections. So from the family, it's easier, but I had very good contact with the parish also. The other thing that made us stay and made me agree to stay in a small city is the quality of the education, exactly, because in France or in bigger city you have these huge schools where nobody knows nobody. In Canlos we have smaller ones and I didn't want the children to go to schools like in France where I disagree with the educational system. And the last thing was the cultural aspect, that it is very easy to, I'm singing, for example, and it's very easy to integrate quality choirs and do interesting stuff here. For example, in Paris, it's extremely difficult, and I guess probably in Helsinki would be more difficult. So all of these were the reason why we stay. Job came much later because, as you know, problem for foreigners is to find a job, and that was one for me as a and I found it through a cooperation with this Hanke and SSA in Vaasa, actually, which helped integrate people in working life. So that's kind of programs that works, actually.
So a governmental program helped you? That
It
sounds good. I have to ask about the language part as well. Have you learned Finnish or Swedish?
Well, I learned Finnish because family is Finnish. Yeah, I say Finnish.
Yes, Finnish, yes.
Because the family speaks Finnish. In my opinion, it's not such an issue, and it's becoming a smaller and smaller issue. For example, one kind of cooperation and going in the direction of safety is that we're starting to organize more and more with Centria a regular occupational safety card class, which is the first step if you want to work in KIP. You need it because it's a requirement. And this is working now quite well, I think.
Excellent initiative.
And we connect with the pupils here. And for example, tomorrow I'm going to take the class to be able to teach it later in French and English. So that's a practical example.
And definitely an amazing example for other regions if there are any other people watching this panel outside of Central Ostrobothnia to see that the local University of Applied Sciences and I guess KPEDU as well is helping local companies to help. But let's continue to talk about the attraction side. Matthew, I'll I'll continue with you. From your HRD standpoint, what strategies or programs have you been involved in to attract and retain international talents with the in Kokkola Industrial Park?
Well, they've been mentioned already a few times, like Export Expat is one, Talent Boost, Talent Coastline. There was this international fair in Helsinki a few weeks ago that you showed the picture from. And actually in Keep Service, Joona Sandlin, the HR manager, is the speaker for the whole area of Keep through Keep Ary, which is a great system and unique system to manage the industrial area. So that kind of program we've been involved, and actually it's interesting because if you speak with Francesca, she will tell you about the same things, because we are really, there is a very good cooperation nowadays going on with Keep Service. We have also our portal Keep Academy that try to connect even more with the educational institution, and I think all of these are good examples.
Definitely. Thank you, Matthew. Lea, given Umicore's position as a leader in cobalt refining, how does your company attract professionals with very specialized skills in this niche industry?
Yes, so there are, of course, we need to do a lot of marketing, and so
just like you said in your previous.
Yes, and one example of this kind of a successful campaign is this Kokkola Works. So it has been done together with Kokkola City and companies in KIP area and Soite. So I know that it works. And example is that there are families who move to Kokkola and we give work, both of them. So it's a good example of successful campaign. Yes. So it's only one example, but it's working.
Well, I think this Kokkola Works is a very unique recruitment strategy, and maybe others should be looking at Kokkola as an example. Well, thank you. Elina, how does the Ministry of Labour and Economy contribute to the creation of policies that attract businesses and talents to Central Ostrobothnia?
Well, we have Business Finland, which has the program Work in Finland, and we have intention to increase those campaigns, and we have targeted countries where we hope to get more immigration. So those at least, but also I think we have more and more those shorter training programs, not giving a full education. Yes. I mean 3-4 years. Whole degree. But more and more shorter educations and training programs, continuous learning, and so on. So I think that we are doing our best. But of course, we need to cooperate with the local, educational organizations and institutions as well. And also, it is important that the locals are doing it too, since we don't see everybody from there, the up. Yeah.
So how does the ministry? You said that you have these specific countries now. Vietnam, yes. India.
Yep.
I can't remember the few others.
Brazil and Vietnam, India.
Well,
Philippines.
Philippines, yes. Thank you for this cooperation. Cooperation is the key.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
So
collective minds.
Collective minds work best. I think so too. So now that Finland has have these 4 countries now. So how do you see that the region of Central Ostrobothnia can really tap into that, and what should they do to think about, okay, we want from the Philippines, or we want more people to join from Vietnam. Francesca was just in Vietnam, so maybe we'll come to that a bit later. Or when you do these things in the ministry in Helsinki, how can the region of Central Ostrobothnia tap into that? What's the cooperation there?
Yeah, that is one thing we need to even discuss more how to make it happen. But I think that we need to start from somewhere, as you have done it already. And I think the cooperation with, for example, Sweden is really important, so that we can do much together too. Not only the, overseas, but the next or neighboring countries can also give us many advices, or we can change the labor force, and with that we can, start building up this kind of labor supply.
So more Nordic cooperation.
More and more. We need that, since we have, firms, companies that are owned by all these countries, or are in common, those products, and also the new energy, clean energy technology, and so on. So we have so much in common. So I really highly recommend that we also do cooperation with the Nordics.
Sounds great. Well, Francesca, your recent trip to Indonesia and Vietnam to promote Finland and Centria as a place to study is an exciting endeavor. Can you share with us the experiences from your trip and the feedback you received from Southeast Asia?
Yes, we just came back actually a week ago, and from almost a two-week trip. In Vietnam, we were all together 19 higher education institutions from Finland, so a big group, together with the embassies, together with Business Finland, and of course studying in Finland from the Board of Education. We did this already in spring in India, actually, so now we have had these tours where we go with a big bunch of people and tell the story of Finland, and at least now, because normally, of course, we've done this before with our universities by itself, for example, but now when we go to places and we ask that, where Finland is, there are quite many people who already know, because it used to be so that you'd say that, okay, do you know Sweden? And then they'd go, yes, and then we're the country next to that. So it really has impact, because having been doing this for a really long time already, I have to say that it's Finland's momentum at the moment, and we are quite known, although we are a small country in the world, and that's why what was said here about like a bigger recruitment area together with the Swedes, that would be wonderful to work together towards that. But at least I can tell now that the higher education units in Finland are really putting their strength together. And the feedback from Vietnam, I would say that you also have to understand that the countries are very different. In Vietnam, parents, when they are the ones who pay the bill, because these students pay tuition fees in Finland, so they are mainly looking for a future for their children to stay in that country, work in that country. But then again, when you go to Indonesia is very much investing in its education system and its youth, and their intention, we visited the ministry as well there, their intention is more to send the students out for a year or for a certain period, and then they expect them to come back. So this is also something to understand, that not all countries have the same aim, and not all countries want to send their children to work in Finland. So there are different ways to do this, but anyway, the end result is that we'll have Finland friends in all those countries who will always remember us dearly, and of course take care of what is needed for Finnish companies and Finnish people.
Thank you for sharing this. Well, Finland is known as the happiest country in the world for the 6th year in a row. And as someone is now, thank you. So I was wondering, are we living up to the image we aim to portray within Southeast Asia, where you just went, or is there room for improvement in ensuring that this region is not just perceived as attractive, but indeed fulfills those expectations? Francesca.
Well, I'm half Italian myself, so sometimes I have a little bit of a trouble with the happiest country at this weather, particularly. But yeah, but maybe in a way, I would say that definitely Finland is the most content. We are in a safe place here in Finland, and with the nature and everything around us, very well working environment. So that's something that creates good health and well-being for us all. Then again, with the Asians, maybe they don't necessarily show their emotions so much. They always do smile, at least in Vietnam and Indonesia. So that's my experience from both. But
we don't smile.
We don't smile, but we feel good anyway. I guess then that's the difference. But definitely the values we share in all the Nordic countries are the kind of that attract people in those countries, and for example in Indonesia they are now building, they have this huge effort to move or build a new capital, Nusantara, in the island of Borneo, because the old one is sort of sinking and it's just so full of, it's so full of people. We don't have that problem. so in that sense we have many things that maybe we don't realize as we are here all the time.
Somebody asked you that, is it really this cold and miserable as they've heard?
Yeah, we actually got
that discussion went.
And we got questions like that, and like, do people smile at all in the winter? Well, like, not necessarily, but in the summer they do. So yeah, well, I guess what we always say, at least in the higher education, that we have to tell a truthful story, that we can't go around saying that it's like sunshine and glory all the time. So we have to tell a truthful story, and then the person who buys that and sort of knows that I would.
Why don't you tell about the climate change then?
Oh, that is true, and of course it is something that is affecting people very
serious
much. Yes,
too. Yes,
definitely. Yes.
And that can bring some new issues, that will bring some new issues later on. And Finland might be one of those countries that are facing more and more people moving here because of climate change. That's great. But now here was a perfect example, because Francesca said that they were on a similar trip to India and now they went to Vietnam. So at least higher education institutions have tapped into those countries that Elina just mentioned.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
This sounds like a great one. Well, now that we've talked about attraction and what we can do here locally and the whole of Finland to attract more people, but let's talk about retention then. It's one thing to get them to move here, but it's another thing to keep them here. And Francesca, a lot of your international students, those who have found a job, some stay in the area, but a lot of people move away from the area. Can you share about this?
That has been the case actually in Finland, and of course the Talent Boost program is tapping on that. For example, our numbers are so that 36% of those, when they have answered these queries when they graduate, 36% stay in this area, so in northern Ostrobotnia, and central Ostrobotnia, and 51% stay somewhere in Finland. So Finland does get a lot of people staying when they graduate, and then 13 at that point already went away from Finland. So there's a lot of work. There is interest to stay in Finland, but of course it's a complex matter of what your well-being is formed. It's not necessarily only the job.
Yeah, the whole idea of EU builds up to an idea that there is a free movement of labor and capital. So we're not I mean, it is a nice idea, and we should keep that in mind. The inflow here in Finland is now much bigger than outflow. So we are happy with that. At least we are happier with that. Yeah.
Well, we watched a video about onboarding process and how that can be one way to keep the employers in this area. So I'm going to address my next question to Lea. In a highly specialized field like cobalt refining, the onboarding process is very crucial. And just like we heard in Heidi Saarinen's interview video, can you share insights into Umicore's orientation process for new hires?
Yeah, that was a very good video, and it was like summarized all good what it includes. But it's the same, so it starts from the day one. So and it's kind of a 3-step onboarding. So first this general onboarding that is same for everyone, and then of course department based. So and they get to know to the department they are going to work and people they meet and plant area, and then the third step is this what they are going to do, this job orienting. And yes, it's very important, and supervisors has a big role, and also we have named kind of a job instructors who do this job. And the most important is that at the day one they feel that they include to Umicore and to the family this and to the team. So that feeling, and we need to keep that.
How long is this process? I guess it depends on the individual, but
yes. And also the job itself.
Yes.
So what it is, but but usually it's quite long because it's not so simple. So it takes time and it takes resources. So it's a long way before you can totally independently work. But
some study suggests that it takes over a year before the new hire, starts to actually bring some money in. Yes.
But it helps that we take trainees and summer workers, so probably they have already working for us some time before they come and start. So it's a good background.
Heidi also mentioned these outside of work activities, clubs and I don't want to say parties, but stuff that they can do outside work. Have you invested in that kind of activities within your company?
Yes, we have. Actually, we have very good benefits. So, for example, we support sports activities and these kind of, and we have some teams which are playing something, so we ask them to invite these new people also to these for example, some ice hockey team who are playing. But of course we support also that time when they have free time.
And that is more and more crucial to keeping them.
Yes.
Well, have you noticed that a well-designed onboarding contributes to the long-term retention of skilled professionals?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Well, the work life is changing, and we knew that after the war, let's go back to the Second World War, and oh yes, let's go back there.
We have many wars.
Yes, we do. But in that generation that came from there, they were used to working in the same place for the day they retired. And now the younger generations that are entering the workforce, they might work 2 years, 5 years, and then move on. And that's completely normal. How do you see this? How do you see this change in when you think about retention, that you want to keep them, but of course you have to give them the possibility to move on as well? Lea and Matthew, then to you.
Yeah, of course we want to keep everyone. So we do a lot of work to keep these people. It is as important to keep all these people we have and now we are hiring more and more people, but of course we want to keep everyone inside. But luckily our turnover in Umicore is very slow, and so it's a good thing. But it means that we really need to focus and pay attention to all people we have. So every time we think about this, onboarding is very important. So that, and they need to enjoy, and also these benefits we offer, for example, for free time. So it's we create those all the time. So, but I think the most important to keep people is that they enjoy and they like, and so it's the work environment and atmosphere and everything. So it's a lot of related also to how they like to work there, and it's all people, and it's a lot of which affects to that how you feel and you would like to stay there. But of course it is more and more difficult because of this market situation. There is competition more, so it's a lot of to that how we keep good care of these people we have.
Thank you for sharing that. Matthew, what strategies or initiatives has KIP Service implemented to retain skilled professionals in the
Well, I will speak more in because I think in Kokkola we should also think as a region. We are small and we should stick together. And actually, if somebody leaves Umicore, it's not so important as long as they stay in Kokkola. And in KIP, I think that we have something very unique is the amount of different industry we have on the same area. Mm-hmm. It means that if you want to change a job, even industry and completely different scope, you can still work in KIP. Mm-hmm. And that's a very huge advantage because even in Europe, there are not so many areas like this. Usually an industrial plant is just one company. And if you move where you change city, you change everything. In Kokkola, we have this strength that we can stay in Kokkola and change completely the field. Mm-hmm. And I think the other thing in KIP is that we are very dynamic. When I arrived, it's only 3 years ago, main industry was zinc and cobalt and the traditional chemistry industry. And nowadays, the main industry will be batteries, lithium, and hydrogen. Mm-hmm. So it has changed very, very quickly and in the direction that is more dynamic and should attract people. So our communication also is important on that. And we have to think as a whole and not just company by company. So that's one thing for at least in keeping the young people that don't stay in the same company. Well, they could be at Umicore and then move to Keliber and go back then later to Umicore. But as long as we keep them in Kokkola, I think we win.
That's true. And now we go back to this education question, because if you are changing, you have a degree in something that you need, and then they need to go to lithium defining, and then they might not have the talent to that. So now we go back to education. Elina, there's an ongoing dialogue about the evolving needs of industries and regions. And in the context of Central Ostrobothnia's growth and development, you already discussed about how we need to change some of our education system so that it's not a whole degree, but shorter periods of. So specifically, what need of adjustments we need in the way we educate and train individuals in Finland?
Yeah, I think we should take advantage of those distance courses and which are organized by somebody else or in somewhere else. And also, of course, ourselves, we need to pay attention to that. It doesn't have to be in certain area, but it could be, I mean, organized in one area with distant or connection to that. It is one possibility, but also I want to develop this in cooperation, since if we have new technologies, where do teachers come? I mean, who is the expert that can teach students so that that there is this chicken and egg problem, or how do you call it?
At least it works in Finnish.
Yes, yes. So I don't know how to, increase the, expertise in this, but perhaps you know better.
But I'm going to ask, are there any considerations at the moment for modifying education policies to enable universities and universities of applied sciences to tailor their degree programs, or not degree programs, but shorter programs, to more closely to the specific needs of the region? Is there that kind of thing going on?
Yes, there is. There is this continuous learning center that is we built it up in 21 or 2 years ago. So it is starting to offer financing for those education institutions in order to organize the teaching there. So I think I hope it is growing as an idea how to start those different kinds of, expertise, education programs, in order to, and also those education institutions, they have, they are quite independent, yes. So they could create them by themselves. But of course they are saying that where's the money? So that they need resources to hire teachers and so on. But in any case, we actually are, the resources to education are quite high compared with the international or other countries. And so I don't know if what is their plans now, but everybody has to be actually worried about this. How to encourage people or attract people to those educations and education programs.
Francesca, are you worried?
Yes, well, Finland is a country where you build on degrees, clearly. So, and that is something what's in the government's plan, clearly. And now, of course, the universities and the higher education sector is trying to find ways to give something in the continuous education sector. But then again, our model of finance at the moment still is very much based on the degrees. So that will be changed in the future. The negotiations are ongoing at the moment. But apart from changing the model of financing, you also have to change people's minds, because at the moment there are many times like people who have 2 degrees, 3 degrees. So what does a second or a third degree actually in higher education add up to? You could easily look for something which then deepens the sector you've already studied, or then takes you to another field. Sentria has a national responsibility, for example, in battery technology education in Finland. So clearly there needs to also be more division of labor between the higher education units as well, so that not everybody is doing the same thing in Finland.
That's right.
Well, Lea and Matthew, in your perspectives, how do you see the role of your organization in helping your workers to attend these courses, not the degree courses, but these shorter courses, so that you keep on adding to the professionalism of your workers? So how do you see this? Lea, let's start with you. How do you support?
Yeah, we support as a company. So we support if people or our employees, if they want to learn more. So of course we support this, and we also encourage to do so, because this battery industry, it's a bit different, and there are certain like quality demands. So of course we support and we encourage that people do that. So,
do you support by giving paid leave, or just support by saying you should do that?
No, of course we support if they are attending to some course. Of course we can do arrangements. So we do so that they can be in a school and work together. So, and this is again the exceptional good cooperation with schools, local schools, so we can do that. So we just negotiate and we kind of do it so that it will work. So we have and we do cooperation so that it's possible. So it's that's how we support it.
Thank you. Matthew, is this normal for France, or is this something that is very unique to Finland, this support?
Yeah, France is quite different on that matter, so we are much more rigid, and it's much more complicated in France, because adapting your work life, what you're doing is not something very common. But I don't think it's a model that Finland should look at, personally speaking. But at Keep Service, we are in the educational side. We are in between companies and educational bodies, and we are developing our educational portal, Keep Academy, and the goal is specifically to enable that closer cooperation, because even if Centria knows quite well the sector, they are still out of the area, and it's much easier to get better cooperation when another body connects really the needs. And we have had very good cooperation, and I think it helps a lot to improve that flow specifically.
You know the client very well.
Exactly, and everybody earns in the end.
Elina. Yes, there is also a problem that people are attending to education, that there is not any longer demand in the labor market. So I wish the education institutions will, guide them to that. Please educate yourself to a branch or to a sector that you will find a work easily.
Then we go back to this marketing bit
also.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly, because we are having a lot and even more visits of students and even younger, so they can see the area. I understand you spoke about that earlier, that we have to show them what there is and what is coming. And
that's right.
And it's true, it's changing very fast, and for vocational school it's critical. And and we have developed that quite a lot.
Yes, we are doing that more and more.
I'm glad to hear that. Yes.
So you can take these great examples and go back to the ministry and be like,
exactly. Yes.
Central Ostrobothnia is ready. Well, one more thing, Francesca, Jyrki gave insights about Centria's Export Expert project, and to me it sounded like a very noteworthy initiative with a clear goal of retaining international students in the region. So what would you like to say to other regions outside Central Ostrobothnia? What lessons can they observe from this initiative, and how it provides companies in the region with the low threshold opportunity for international recruitment and talent retention?
I was working on the project when I started in Centria almost 3 years ago that summer, and our partner ever since, of course, was for example KIP and other stakeholders from the region. So that was the first thing, that we wanted all the meaningful stakeholders to be part of the project. Also, sometimes in the higher education, we tend to sort of look inside, not necessarily outside. So we decided from the get-go that we will look outside straight away, and we will have the company's needs as our aim. And then at that point, we sort of saw that many times it is, first of all, we took the small and medium-sized companies as our goals, that they are the ones who have to make the change, because the bigger companies already know how to do it. So in this initiative, we had like tandem pairs. It's not like a huge invention in any way, but there's a Finnish student or national student who speaks Finnish, and then an international student who go to the company as a pair. So you have sort of support from the person who speaks Finnish, and then it makes it easier for the company. And we only have to look at when people have coffee in the coffee breaks. They seem to be the most difficult. Am I right, Lea? They seem to be the most difficult moments in the recruitment, because you have to find something to talk about with a total stranger. So that sort of lowered the difficulty maybe for the company. And also we have given support, particular support and mentorship for the companies, along with, of course, the student, but quite a simple recipe, actually.
Was it hard to get companies?
Yes.
Why?
It was very, very hard in the beginning. 3 years ago, it was very, very hard. But now we're on a totally different situation. And now when the project actually has already ended, it was an ESR project, did I mention? And now we are getting inquiries whether to have these kinds of pairs. So we have to find a way to make that a permanent way to act in the higher education.
Okay, well, let's wrap up this discussion now, and let's reflect on the future of Central Ostrobothnia. Another yes or no, simple question. Do you believe that Central Ostrobothnia's current trajectory positions it as a leading hub for innovation, growth, and prosperity in the coming years? Yes or no?
I have to say yes. Otherwise, they will kill me.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Let's keep Elina safe.
I've heard stories in Ostrobothnia that there are really violent people in
Southern Ostrobothnia. Yes. Lea.
Of course, I believe. I mean, yes of course. Yeah.
Yes. Lea.
Yes.
Francesca.
Well, it has a history of effective circular economy for 50 years, so why not? We are in the middle of green transitions, of course.
Yes. Yeah, if we are careful with what we do, I say yes, and in the industry we see it, so maybe yes. Yeah.
Maybe yes. That's a positive.
That's
yes.
the maximum you will get.
Well, thank you to our esteemed panelists for sharing your valuable insights and perspectives today. And it is clear that Central Ostrobothnia is on the brink of remarkable growth, and your expertise has illuminated the diverse strategies and collaborative efforts essential for this journey. So thank you. And your contributions have not only addressed the challenges, but have also painted a picture of a region ready to embrace change and flourish. And we appreciate your time and dedication to this important conversation. And as we conclude, let's carry forward the optimism and commitment shared here today to propel Central Ostrobothnia into a future marked by success, innovation and prosperity. Johannes, thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Let's finish this in tandem. We're like the...
Do you think Central Ostrobothnia is ready for change?
I think in generally we have to be, because change is constant, so why not embrace it? Thank you, Jasmin and the panelists, for this interesting and engaging conversation. Jasmin, have you enjoyed your day?
I have. I was super nervous before we started, but luckily my panelists were very, very amazing, so I didn't have to worry about anything. Have you enjoyed the discussion?
I've enjoyed it a lot, and one thing came to mind. Francesca mentioned the fact that the city in Indonesia is sinking. I think here in Central Ostrobothnia we are in a good situation. The land is literally rising from the ocean, so...
Even that?
That's a positive sign.
Yes. So you have an interesting week ahead of you.
Yes, tomorrow we are kicking off the main event at Kokkola City Hall for the Kokkola Material Week, and I hope to see all of you online live at Kokkola City Hall tomorrow.
So good luck, Johannes, with your week, and good luck, Kokkola, for your Material Week, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Our pleasure.